Divine Assurance Today, 7 Miraculous Prayer Revelations for Supernatural Provision. In a quiet village, where the aroma of blooming flowers still danced on the air and the church bells chimed with a joyful clang, Sarah's heart was heavy. Her fingers trembled as she leaned against the small kitchen table, staring at the bills that threatened to suffocate her spirit. The familiar weight of worry creased her brow, each chime of the bell resonating with divine promise yet haunted by her recent job loss. "What will I do?" she whispered, her thoughts rising as prayers to the heavens above. Then, amidst her turmoil of thoughts, Sarah stumbled upon an old prayer card, worn and frayed. In the image, Saint Joseph, the staunch protector of workers, gazed back at her with serene assurance. A wave of warmth enveloped her as if a soft light had filled the room. She felt an inexplicable peace, a reminder that faith in the unseen could spark miracles. "Lucy! James!" she called out, her voice a whisper of hope. They gathered around, eyes bright with anticipation as she revealed the prayer card. That night, they knelt together, hearts united, voices lifted in faith-infused prayer, requesting divine intervention for their struggling family. The following days unfolded like a tapestry of divine wonder. A letter slid through their mailbox, an anonymous donation inside, crisp and unexpected like a fallen star in the night sky. Then came a phone call, a job offer, a glimmer of light, like rays peeking through storm clouds. Lauren from the local cafe had seen her struggle and reached out, unwittingly fulfilling their prayers. Sarah's heart soared, but shadows of doubt hung around her, whispering temptations of disbelief. Friends questioned her fervent prayers, their skeptical words echoing like unwelcome thunder in the stillness of her heart. "Will this last?" she thought, wrestling with her faith as she sought the warmth of the church community. Returning each Sunday, she shared her vulnerable heart. The congregation enveloped her in love, their prayers and support resonating like a collective melody calling forth miracles. During a particularly powerful service, as the pastor spoke of unwavering faith, Sarah felt not only the weight of worship but the stirring of something unexpected deep within her. A prophetic word stirred to life, promising abundant provision in ways she had yet to imagine. "God's plan is unfolding," the pastor declared, as the air thickened with anticipation. The congregation erupted in praises, but Sarah stood still, heart racing. Could their burdens truly be lifted? Her spirit ached with hope, the lingering whispers of doubt contending for her attention. Eyes closed, breath held, she leaned into the overwhelming presence of the Holy Spirit, ready to embrace the supernatural. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the reverberations of prayer surrounded her, Sarah realized that her faith must push through the haze of skepticism, breaking free toward the light of divine revelation. A question pulsed through her heart: would she witness the miraculous manifestations she had so fervently prayed for? Would she see her family rise from the ashes of uncertainty into an abundance that was promised? The night deepened around her, the shadows clinging to old fears, yet the warmth of faith was igniting a spark of anticipation. She stood between doubt and hope, preparing to embrace a journey of transformation that could redefine their lives forever. What would await them on the other side of this divine mystery? The warmth of the morning sun filtered through the curtains the next day, casting golden rays across the room. Sarah awoke with a slight flutter in her heart. Hope, a gentle whisper, moved through her spirit, urging her to rise. With a deep breath, she embraced the day, ready to confront the uncertainties that loomed ahead. The smell of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the house as she prepared breakfast for Lucy and James. The children shared excited glances, the joy of their mother's newfound hope lifting their spirits. "Mom, do you really think we'll be okay?" Lucy asked, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. For a brief moment, Sarah hesitated, but then she chose to draw from the well of faith she had stirred within. "Yes, my sweet Lucy," she replied, "God is at work. We need to trust His timing." As they shared a meal, laughter filled the air, sweet and buoyant. They soaked in the morning light, and for Sarah, it felt as if divine assurance wrapped around them like a soft blanket. When James suddenly interjected, asking about their prayer for abundance, Sarah's heart echoed with her children's faith. Would God really provide? Later that day, while Sarah walked through the village, people greeted her with friendly smiles. Each interaction was a reminder of the community that rallied around her, their love a melody affirming her spirit. But as Sarah reached the park, the creeping shadows of doubt returned, gnawing at her resolve. What if this wasn't real? What if the miracles would fade as quickly as they had come? As those unsettling thoughts whispered in her ear, a flock of birds took flight above her. They broke free from the branches, soaring into the vast blue sky, reminiscent of the freedom she craved. A sense of connection to something larger rose within her. She unscrewed the cap off her water bottle and took a moment to watch the birds, their unity a testament to the beauty of faith in action. "God, help me see," she murmured, longing for clarity. Just then, she spotted a stranger sitting alone on a nearby bench, a well-dressed man tapping away on his phone. Something about him felt like a signal from heaven, stirring her heart with prompting. She felt led to approach him, the idea wrestling with her cautious thoughts. As she walked closer, she noticed the sadness dimming his eyes. "Excuse me," Sarah began, her voice steady despite her trembling heart. "Is everything all right? You seem a bit heavy." The man looked up, surprise flashing across his face. "I'm just overwhelmed. My job is on the line, and the thought leaves me anxious." Sarah felt an immediate connection. "You're not alone. I've been there too. Can I pray with you?" His eyes widened, and then he nodded, the weight of his worry yielding a space for shared faith. As she prayed, words flowed like a soothing balm over both their spirits. Sarah's heart ignited with divine purpose. Here she was offering hope to a stranger while reinforcing her own. It was a miraculous leap of faith that overcame her internal battles. When they finished, he looked brighter, a smile breaking through the clouds shadowing his heart. "Thank you. I needed that more than you know," he said, his voice richer with gratitude. The rest of the afternoon felt electric. Sarah returned home, feeling lighter, like the burdens had been scattered by the wind. As she prepared dinner, her heart hummed with anticipation. Each moment drew her closer to the unfolding promises of the divine. But on the edge of her joy was a question that still lingered like the fog before dawn. What greater miracles awaited her just around the corner? That evening, Sarah lay in bed, her mind racing with expectations. The fire of faith crackled within her. Tomorrow would bring new opportunities, wouldn't it? What surprise from God would shift everything in their favor? The anticipation wrapped around her dreams like a cocoon, promising something beautiful. As she closed her eyes, she whispered, "I'm ready for the next revelation, Lord." And with that fervent declaration, the next chapter of her journey was set to unfold. Morning light poured into Sarah's room, brightening her space like a divine spotlight. She awoke feeling renewed, the hope from yesterday blossoming anew. Today was not just any day, it was a chance for fresh beginnings. With an eager heart, she prepared breakfast, her thoughts swirling with what God might reveal. "Mom, what are we going to do today?" James asked, his face still sleepy but eager. With a smile, Sarah replied, "Let us see where God leads us, my love. Every day holds a little slice of heaven." They enjoyed breakfast together, savoring the meal and each other's company. Through their laughter and shared stories, Sarah felt the warmth of family surround her. It was a sweet reminder of how far she had come and how deeply love could heal. After breakfast, the family decided to visit the community center, where a charity event was set to unfold. As they arrived, vibrant colors and cheerful chatter filled the air. Booths showcasing local crafts, baked goods, and games lined the hall, while children raced about, their laughter echoing like joyous hymns. "Look, Mom. Can we get some cupcakes?" Lucy pointed, her blue eyes sparkling. "Of course. Let us savor every bite," Sarah agreed, her heart swelling with delight at the simple moments shared with her children. As they wandered about, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary awaited them. A stirring in her spirit beckoned her forward, leading her to an empty table set apart from the bustling crowd. It was there that an elderly woman sat alone, her silver hair sprinkled with sunlight. She looked both frail and wise, as if she held stories wrapped in her heart. "Hello," Sarah said gently, approaching the table. "Would you like some company?" The woman's eyes brightened. "Oh, dear. Yes, please. I've been waiting for someone to share a moment with." They exchanged pleasantries, and before long, Sarah felt a bond forming. It was as if they were threading faith together with each word spoken. The woman shared her journey, punctuated with trials and triumphs that had etched lines on her face. With every story, the air thickened with divine presence. "Sometimes, dear, we wonder if we're still connected to God's will. But remember, even in silence, He speaks," the woman imparted, her gaze steady and kind. Touched by the truth of her words, Sarah felt a ripple of understanding wash over her. It was as if a veil had lifted, showing her that God had always been with her even in moments of uncertainty. "Thank you for sharing that," Sarah said, her voice breaking slightly with emotion. "I've often felt lost in my worries. How do you keep your faith strong?" The woman smiled, her gaze warm and wise. "Through prayer, we invite God into our hearts. When we trust His plan, we find strength even in storms. Pray with intention, and keep your heart open, miracles are born from faith." With those words, Sarah remembered the farmer's prayer for abundance. She wondered how often she had closed herself off from the blessings God was ready to provide. As they parted, the elderly woman clasped Sarah's hands tightly. "Remember, child, God delights in your faith. Trust Him, and He will show you the way." Returning to her children amid the joyous chaos, Sarah felt a new whisper in her spirit. The connection she had forged with the elderly woman unlocked something within her, a promise of miracles yet to come. "Today is just the beginning," she thought as her heart fluttered with anticipation. As they headed home, a sense of divine expectancy enveloped her. Would tomorrow bring the manifestations of faith she yearned for? That night, as Sarah prepared for bed, she whispered another prayer. "God, guide my heart and reveal your beautiful plans. What awaits us, dear Lord?" With every fiber of her being craving revelation, she settled into the embrace of her bed, her heart whispering, "I trust in your divine timing." And just as she drifted off, she felt a peace settle over her, like a cloak of warmth ready for the new miracles that lay just ahead. What divine orchestrations awaited her next? As dawn broke, a gentle breeze flowed through Sarah's window, carrying with it the sound of birds singing a morning hymn. She awoke feeling the weight of her prayer from the night before still lingering in her heart. The whisper of expectation was heavier now, and she sensed a divine purpose behind each moment waiting to unfold. "Good morning, Mom," James exclaimed, bounding into her room with youthful energy. Lucy followed, her hair tousled but her smile wide. "Good morning, my loves," Sarah replied, pulling them into a warm embrace. The love of her children was a tangible reminder of God's blessings in her life. Together, they gathered around the breakfast table again, sharing stories with laughter that flowed like the sweetest melodies. This simplicity felt sacred, and Sarah made a mental note to cherish every minute. Each bite of breakfast fed not only their bodies but nurtured their spirits, filling the room with warmth and gratitude. After cleaning up, the sunlight filtering through the window caught her attention. It was time to seek God's guidance again. "How about we take a walk in the park today?" she suggested, her heart racing with excitement as she imagined what wonders awaited them. "Yay! Can we bring a ball?" James asked, his eyes lighting up. "Absolutely. Let us make it a day filled with joy. They headed to the park, the fresh air wrapping around them like a loving embrace. As they walked, vibrant flowers greeted them, swaying in the breeze as if dancing to the rhythm of prayer. Sarah breathed deeply, inhaling the beauty around her, sensing that today felt different somehow, almost electric. Upon reaching the park, they noticed people of all ages enjoying the afternoon, some walking dogs, others playing games. Sarah found herself drawn to a group of children playing soccer. She watched as Lucy and James ran toward them, eager to join in the fun. As laughter erupted, Sarah felt a nudge in her spirit, a reminder of the conversations she had experienced with the elderly woman. Her heart swelled as she walked to a nearby bench, sitting quietly to pray. Lord, open my eyes to the miracles you have for me today. The gentle breeze whispered in response, and Sarah felt a sense of peace settle over her. It was at that moment she noticed an elderly man sitting alone on the opposite bench. His gaze was distant, as if he was lost in a sea of thoughts. Something tugged at her heart, she was compelled to approach him. "Hello there," she greeted, her voice soft yet purposeful. "Mind if I sit with you?" He looked up, surprise dancing in his eyes. "Not at all. I would welcome the company." Sitting beside him, Sarah saw the hint of sorrow on his face. "What brings you to the park today?" she asked gently. The man sighed deeply, his voice thick with emotion. "I come here to pray. It's been hard lately. Life doesn't seem to make much sense anymore." Sarah felt her heart ache for him. "I understand. Sometimes it's difficult to find clarity. But I believe God has a plan for us, even when we can't see it." His brow furrowed slightly, and she continued, "A wise woman told me just yesterday that miracles are born from faith. Have you prayed about the burdens you carry?" With every word, Sarah sensed the presence of God wrapping around them. The man nodded, gratitude shimmering in his eyes. "I've prayed, but I often feel like my prayers go unheard." "Sometimes, God answers in unexpected ways," she encouraged. "Perhaps, today, He sent me to remind you that you are not alone." Tears formed in the corners of his eyes. "Thank you, you have lifted my spirits just by your kindness." As they spoke, Sarah felt energy coursing through her, an unmistakable sign that she was part of something bigger. Love flowed between them, igniting hope and healing. Just then, a joyful shout erupted from her children. "Mom! Look what we found!" they exclaimed, running toward her with a vibrant butterfly fluttering around them. In that moment, Sarah realized this was God's answer. It wasn't just one miracle but a tapestry of connections, each thread woven together with love, hope, and faith. Her heart swelled with excitement. God was moving, but how much more awaited them? Sarah looked back to the elderly man, wondering how many others in the world were waiting for their encounters, their moments of divine assurance. She breathed deeply, ready to embrace whatever God had next. What joy awaited them at the next turn in the path of faith? As the butterfly danced in the air, Sarah's heart raced. It was a reminder of God's beauty, a symbol of transformation and hope. Her children giggled, chasing after the fleeting creature, their laughter infectious and pure. In that moment, she felt a swell of gratitude wash over her. The elderly man looked at her with a knowing smile. "Children have a way of reminding us of the simple joys in life, don't they?" he said, his voice now a soft melody. "Yes, they really do. Their joy is a gift." Sarah turned her gaze to James and Lucy. They were temporarily distracted by the colorful spectacle, their innocence a precious reminder of faith. It made her think of how often adults lose touch with that childlike wonder, how prayer can sometimes feel like a heavy burden instead of a liberating flight. She took a deep breath, grounding herself in the present, filled with purpose. "I believe every moment has a purpose, even amidst the chaos. It's often in our simplest experiences that the most profound truths emerge." The man nodded, his face softening. "It's easy to forget that. Life can overshadow the simple miracles if we let it." Just then, the butterfly landed on Lucy's outstretched hand. Both children froze in awe. "Mom! Look!" Lucy said, her eyes sparkling like starlight. "Isn't it beautiful?" Sarah replied, moving closer. She cherished the joy radiating from her children's faces. In that very moment, she felt nudged by a whisper of divine inspiration. "It reminds me of how God's presence is always near us, even when we can't see Him," Sarah shared, feeling the weight of her own words. The old man held on to her thought, looking off into the distance. "I've been searching for that presence. I sometimes feel lost in the shadows. May I pray for you?" she asked gently. His eyes met hers, filled with a quiet desperation, and he nodded. Together, they bowed their heads, an intimate circle of faith woven between them, a mother, a child, and a searching soul. Sarah prayed, "Lord, guide him through the shadows. Shine your light upon his path. Let him know he is never alone." As she spoke, an unexpected warmth enveloped her. It was as if the air crackled with divine energy, each word filled with intention. When she opened her eyes, she saw tears streaming down the man's cheeks. "That was beautiful," he whispered, his voice quivering like a leaf in the wind. "I believe God smiles upon you," she replied, her heart lifted by his response. They spent a few moments in silence, sharing a sacred space, a mutual appreciation for the divine synchronicity that brought them together. "Thank you for reminding me to keep faith alive, even in dark times," he said, the heaviness beginning to melt away from his spirit. "Faith is a journey, one step at a time. When we embrace it, we begin to see miracles unfold in our lives." The children returned, their laughter breaking through the solemn moment, bringing a reminder of joy. "We want to play. Come join us." James piped up, waving his hand animatedly. "Go on," Sarah urged the elderly man. "Join in the fun. You might just find joy in unexpected places." To Sarah's surprise, the man's smile grew wider as he stood and joined the children. Together, they played, rolling the ball, laughter ringing in the air like the sweetest hymn. As she watched them, all ages, all backgrounds connecting through laughter and joy, Sarah felt tingles of divine assurance. God was weaving a beautiful tapestry right before her eyes, yet, despite the joy surrounding her, a question whispered in her heart. What other miracles awaited? She sensed there was so much more. Each encounter held potential, threads of grace waiting to be discovered. With her heart open and hopeful, she couldn't help but wonder, what was God preparing next for her and those around her? What doors would He open today? As the children played, a sense of wonder surrounded Sarah like a warm embrace. Their laughter was a delightful symphony that filled her soul with light, and she couldn't help but smile. Each giggle, each effervescent shout, was a reminder of the joy that could be found even in the smallest moments. Suddenly, James stopped mid-laughter, his eyes growing wide with curiosity. "Mom! Look at the sky!" he exclaimed, pointing upward. Sarah followed his gaze, her breath hitching as she saw a remarkable sight. The clouds had parted, revealing a brilliant ray of sunlight breaking through. It cascaded upon the earth, lighting up the playground like a heavenly spotlight. "Wow! It's like God is smiling!" Lucy shouted, her face aglow in the golden light. "Exactly, dear. He shines His love upon us," Sarah replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. This was a divine reminder, a gentle nudge from God that He was present, illuminating paths and hearts alike. The elderly man paused, his eyes reflecting the sunlight, and he tilted his head up, his face softened by the warmth. "Isn't it amazing? Just when we think life is dull, He paints beauty right before our eyes." "Yes," Sarah replied, overwhelmed with joy and inspiration. "Every day holds the potential for miracles. Just like this moment." They stood together, the trio of faith, caught in a microcosm of divine radiance. It felt sacred, like God was whispering to them, revealing his presence in every inch of the cosmos, but as she basked in this joy, her heart flickered with another thought. She remembered the moments of doubt that had once clouded her faith. There were days when even the smallest glimmer of hope felt far away. Sometimes, she reflected aloud, life can make us feel so lost or alone. It can be challenging to hold on to that childlike faith we need. The elderly man listened, his eyes thoughtful, as if he recognized those shadows from his own life. Yes. It's in those moments we need each other the most, he replied gently. Community helps us see the light when we are blinded by darkness. A profound truth echoed between them. Sarah's heart was stirred. What an incredible gift we have in one another, she said quietly, almost to herself. Just at that moment, a slight gust of wind danced through the air, bringing with it a scattering of leaves. It felt magical, as if nature itself was celebrating the connection they were forming. It encouraged her, a gentle reminder that God's presence envelopes them in every breath. Her heart began to race again as she considered this connection. Were her children meant to guide this man toward a newfound hope? Could their innocence and laughter be the bridge he needed to walk out of the shadows? Would you like to join us for lunch? Sarah asked, her voice warm and inviting. I believe we could all use a little more joy in our lives. The man's face lit up, transforming the lines of worry into a smile. I would love that. As they walked towards the nearby cafe, she sensed a shift in the atmosphere, a burgeoning excitement. Each step felt lighter, filled with anticipation. What miracles awaited them in this shared moment? The gentle echo of faith in motion resonated in her soul. She couldn't shake the feeling that something wondrous was just around the corner, waiting to unfold in the tapestry of their lives. But even as the sun shined brightly above them, it was another question that now lingered. What deep connections would God establish through their hearts today? What unexpected blessings awaited them around the bend? As they approached the cafe, sunlight played against the brick walls, casting soft shadows on the ground below. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, wrapping around them like a warm blanket. Inside, laughter and chatter embraced them, filling the space with a sense of community that felt almost divine. Here we are, Sarah said, motioning for the elderly man to choose a table. He seemed more at ease now, his usual weariness giving way to a spark of renewed hope. Lucy and James flanked him, their chatter swirling around him like tiny wings. What do you usually order? James asked, eyes bright with curiosity. I like the soup, the man said, a slow smile dawning. It always warms my heart. In that simple exchange, Sarah felt a flicker of something deeper. How often did they overlook the power of sharing meals and stories? These moments of connection felt larger than life, the kind of heavenly gifts that weave lives together. Once they settled at a cozy corner table, Sarah realized it wasn't just food that offered nourishment. It was the conversations that would unfold. What were your favorite things to do when you were a young boy? She asked, leaning in as if they shared a cherished secret. He chuckled softly. Oh, I love to fly kites. They would dance so freely against the sky, like my worries lifting away. The children's eyes lit up. Can we fly kites too? Lucy asked, her enthusiasm infectious. The man's heart warmed at their excitement. We could organize a kite-flying day. What do you think? Yay! James shouted, clapping his hands. Let us do it. As they placed their orders, laughter danced between them. Sarah felt a surge of gratitude. Each moment felt like a tiny miracle, a brushstroke on the canvas of God's grace. But beneath the surface of the light-hearted banter, she sensed the elderly man had more to share, something still locked within him. You know, sometimes I wonder why life can be so hard, he began, hesitating before continuing. It's difficult to believe there's purpose during the storms. His words hung in the air, deeper than any meal or laugh shared. Sarah felt an electric ripple move through her heart. Here was the very essence of their meeting: vulnerability, the shared struggles of faith that united their spirits. You're not alone, she replied gently, her own memories of doubt surfacing like distant waves. We all walk through those valleys. But God finds ways to guide us through. The elderly man studied her, a flicker of hope dancing in his eyes. Is that the secret? Finding light in the darkness? Absolutely, Sarah said, her heart racing with conviction. And sometimes that light comes through people. Just like you've brought joy into our lives today. We are meant to uplift each other. As they continued to share stories and laughter, a warmth enveloped them, transcending the physical. There, at that little cafe, God was weaving their hearts together in rich tapestry. But just when Sarah thought they had reached a beautiful crescendo, a shadow fell across the table, a new voice emerging from behind. "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" They turned to see a woman, her expression softly troubled yet yearning. Sarah sensed an opportunity. Was this another divine connection waiting to unfold? Not at all. "Please, join us," she invited, her heart already racing with anticipation. What new dimensions of grace would this moment bring? What would the woman reveal? The woman settled cautiously into the vacant chair, a slight frown creasing her forehead. "Thank you," she murmured, her voice almost a whisper. The energy around the table shifted, inviting curiosity and compassion to intertwine. "I'm Sarah, and these are my friends Lucy, James, and our new friend here," she said, smiling broadly as she pointed to the elderly man, who nodded in greeting. As soon as introductions were made, the warm chatter resumed, yet the woman's troubled expression made it clear she carried a weight. "Do you come here often?" she asked, her eyes darting to the vibrant mural on the wall. "Not really, but it feels like we found a little sanctuary today," Sarah replied, sensing a heartbeat of vulnerability in the woman's longing gaze. "What about you? Are you here for comfort as well?" The woman inhaled deeply, as if steeling herself. "I'm actually going through a rough patch. My job just ended, and I'm not sure how I'm going to pay my bills this month." The elderly man leaned in slightly, his brow furrowing with concern. "Life's storms can feel overwhelming," he said gently. "But I believe there is always a way, even if we can't see it yet." A flicker of hope raced through Sarah. "That's right," she supported. "In moments like these, we often find strength in unexpected places. Have you thought about reaching out for help?" The woman nodded, her eyes glistening. "I've tried, but it feels like no one can help. I'm afraid I'm alone in this." Lucy piped up, her voice bright and innocent. "You're not alone. We can help. Maybe we can make a plan together." The idea soared above their table like the kites they had imagined earlier. A thread of hope shimmered in the air, casting a golden light around them. The elderly man looked at Lucy with warmth, his own memories of storms rising to the surface. "Sometimes, sharing a burden makes it lighter. You have us now." There was a moment of silence, a sacred space where worries seemed small next to their budding connection. "I've never prayed in public before," the woman said suddenly, vulnerability quaking in her voice. "But maybe that's what I need." "Yes." James interrupted, his eyes sparkling. "We can all pray together. God's listening." The unexpected joy in his words struck the woman. "You think that will help?" "Of course." Sarah exclaimed with a confidence that rang true in her heart. Prayer is a doorway to peace. It's where we lay down our burdens and find strength in God. As they prepared to pray, a warm hush enveloped them, the cafe faded into the background, wrapped in their holy moment. Sarah bowed her head, feeling the weight of the woman's troubles merge with her own struggles. Each word of prayer became a soft balm, soothing the frayed edges of their souls, weaving their hearts in communion. In that instant, the cafe transformed into a sacred space, their voices rising in unison, carrying hopes and fears to a listening God. When they finished, the woman looked up, her face radiant with a newfound light. "Thank you. I feel different, lighter." The elderly man smiled knowingly. Faith has a way of lifting burdens. It's as if clouds parting to reveal the sun. Just as joy washed over them, the door of the cafe swung open, a gust of cold wind heralding the arrival of someone new. Sarah turned her gaze, sensing that the next visitor might also carry a story, a need for connection, a sliver of grace. What awaited them now? What new journey of faith was about to unfold? The door creaked slightly as the new visitor stepped inside, brushing away the chill of the outside world. It was a man, perhaps in his 40s, coat slightly rumpled, his hands stuffed in his pockets. A sense of urgency marked his face, the kind that makes a person look around for a lifeline. As he scanned the cafe, his gaze landed on the group huddled together. Sarah noticed how he hesitated, as if unsure whether to approach. She glanced at her friends, their faces reflecting both curiosity and compassion. "Come join us," Lucy called out, optimism bubbling over. "We have plenty of room." The man's shoulder relaxed as he padded over, gratitude visible in his eyes. "Thank you," he replied, dropping into the chair beside the woman who had shared her own burden just moments ago. "Are you okay?" the woman asked gently, her own troubles momentarily softened by concern for another. "Not really," he replied, his voice heavy. "I just lost my job too, and I'm afraid I don't know what to do next." In that moment, the weight of the room shifted. Here they were, 4 souls gathered in communion, each facing a storm. The elderly man leaned forward, his eyes shimmering with quiet wisdom. "You see? You are not alone. Life seems to take and take, but there's a purpose hidden in what we go through." "A purpose?" The man blinked, a flicker of skepticism mixed with hope crossing his features. "Absolutely," James chimed in. "When we feel hopeless, we often discover strength we didn't even know we had. It's like a seed that must fall to the ground before it can grow." Sarah nodded, her heart swelling with belief. "And it's in community that we truly find our strength. Just as there's power in prayer, there's power in sharing our stories." As the man listened, something shifted in his eyes. It was as if the weight of his troubles began to lift, if only just a little. "Maybe praying together is what I need," he whispered hesitantly. "Yes," Lucy exclaimed, her enthusiasm contagious. "Let us do it. Let us lift all our burdens to God." The group bowed their heads, intertwining their hands. Sarah felt the tension in the air dissolve as words of prayer began to rise. Each petition was a thread, weaving their hearts into a beautiful tapestry of hope. For a while, it felt like they could truly touch the edges of the divine. With each amen that circled back, the warm light in the cafe seemed to intensify, and when they opened their eyes, the world outside appeared different. The gust of wind, once cold, felt less sharp. "Thank you," the man said, his voice lighter. "I can't explain it, but I feel hopeful." "Hope is the first step," the elderly man replied, his voice a soothing balm. "Just keep moving forward. God knows the way, even when we can't see it." The woman beside him urged him on. "You can start that journey now. Maybe we can write down a list of places to apply for jobs together." Sometimes, a small action sparks significant change. As lively chatter began anew, Sarah felt a spark ignite within her, emboldened by the connections forming at their table. This cafe had become a small sanctuary for weary souls, and she realized how beautifully intertwined their paths had become. But then, just as the weight of despair seemed to fully fall away, there came a knock on the glass door. With the wind gusting behind it, the door rattled ominously, and their eyes shifted toward it in curiosity. Who could it be now? What new twist awaited them on this journey of faith and connection? The door swung open to reveal a woman in her 30s, her face flushed from the cold. She stepped in, visibly shaken, her breath coming in quick bursts. As her eyes scanned the room, they stopped on the group gathered at the corner table, their atmosphere imbued with warmth and light. "Hello, can I join you?" she stammered, her voice trembling as if it carried the weight of the world. "Of course." We have plenty of room. Lucy chimed without hesitation, her innocence shining brightly in the dim cafe light. The woman approached slowly, her hands wringing together as if holding tightly to something precious yet fragile. "Thank you," she said, finding a place beside the newly reformed group of companions. As she settled in, Sarah saw the glimmer of pain behind her eyes. "What brings you here today?" she asked gently, extending a hand of understanding. Taking a deep breath, the woman opened her mouth to speak. "I just lost my job, and on my way here, I got a call that my mother is in the hospital. I feel as if life is spiraling out of my control. I don't know how I'll manage it all." Sarah's heart ached with empathy, knowing the feeling of drowning in uncertainty. "You're not alone in this," she said softly, catching the glances of each member around the table as they nodded sympathetically. "We're here for you, and we can pray together." The room fell momentarily silent, each person processing their invisible burdens. An unspoken agreement formed within this small sanctuary of faith. There was magic in their unity, a bond forged through shared struggles. "I've never prayed with strangers," the newcomer admitted, feeling vulnerable yet drawn toward the light radiating from each of them. "Let's change that. You don't need to carry this weight alone," the elderly man replied encouragingly, his own battles etched in his face, yet softened by his renewed hope. Sarah took a deep breath and led them in prayer, her voice steady yet filled with genuine emotion. "Heavenly Father, we come to you today with open hearts, burdened by life's challenges. We ask that you provide comfort to our friend and show her the strength she needs to navigate these trials." The cafe transformed as their voices rose in unison, mingling like sweet incense before the Lord. Each amen sounded like a stepping stone, guiding them from doubt to faith, one heartfelt plea at a time. With every word prayed, a wave of divine assurance enveloped them, tearing down the invisible walls that isolated each soul. When they finished, the woman's eyes glistened as tears trickled down her cheeks. "I can't explain it, but I feel lighter already," she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. "It's the power of prayer," Sarah reminded her, her heart swelling with gratitude for this moment of divine connection. "You have community now. You're not alone in this." People around the table began to speak life into her darkness as they shared stories of their own struggles, hearts unfolding like petals blooming into the sun. The elderly man spoke of his experience losing a job and how it had pushed him to new paths he could never have imagined. The woman with the weight of sorrow nodded, inspiration igniting in her eyes, while the group rallied around her with empathy, encouragement, and laughter. Just then, Lucy spoke up, her voice a high note of innocence. "We should have a kite-flying day. It's fun, and it can help us all feel free." Laughter bubbled through the group, breaking the tension, the hope rekindling flames of joy they'd almost forgotten. They began brainstorming how they could organize one, with the cafe serving as a hub for their community rebuild. With each moment, Sarah watched as hope blossomed like flowers in the spring, transforming their table from a gathering of individuals into a burgeoning community forged in faith. But deeper than the laughter was a dawning revelation. This was the tapestry God was weaving through each of their lives, an intricate design of connection, support, and prayer. "Together, we can face anything," James exclaimed with a childlike zeal that made the surrounding hearts respond with hope. Feeling energized by the presence of God surrounding them, Sarah looked from face to face, relishing the light of resilience igniting within each spirit. The pathways ahead were daunting, no doubt, but together, they held the power to conquer storms, to seek divine provision, and to birth miracles yet unseen. As the time passed and new friendships blossomed, Sarah couldn't shake a feeling of urgency. "Let's create an online group to stay connected," she proposed excitedly. "We can share prayer requests and support one another." "Yes," came the enthusiastic reply from the group, and as they shared ideas and plans, excitement brewed around the table. Time seemed to evaporate in the warmth of their connections. As they left the cafe hand in hand, hearts filled with anticipation, Sarah felt the flutter of divine provision enveloping them. There was so much more ahead, so many lives to touch and hearts to mend, and she couldn't wait to see where God would lead them next. As they walked out together, her heart brimmed with gratitude for every miracle that had unfolded before them, the connections, the light, the unfathomable love of a God who never left their side. What awaited them tomorrow? Sarah could hardly wait to find out. Now, friends, the moment has come for you to be part of this divine movement. You need to subscribe now. Don't miss the next exclusive faith stories that could transform your life. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm and spread the light. Comment below with your thoughts and testimonies about the ending. We want to hear how this resonates with your faith journey, and share this powerful story instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope. Remember, true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this channel through these actions. Don't wait even one more second. Act now.